Hello, welcome to Guidancy Education Channel. We are continuing Class 11 Chemistry, Chapter 2, Structure of Atom. Under that, we are doing Quantum Mechanical Model of Atom. This is Part 6 under that series. We will see the topic that is discussed. We are continuing Quantum Model. This is Part 6 under that. Shape of p orbital. Notes for p orbitals. Radial probability function curve for S, P and D orbitals. A comparison. This video will be of great use to you. So watch the video without skipping. And if you think the video is useful, do like the video, share the video and also leave your feedbacks as comments in the comment box below. If you have not yet subscribed my channel, do subscribe my channel now and also press the bell button for notification of new videos. In this channel, I am giving classes for Class 11 and 12 Physics and Chemistry. So you can visit the channel and then choose the concerned chapter-wise playlist for particular chapters. Okay, do not forget to see the description box where I give some probable questions. You may try to find out the answer for that, and if you find it difficult, let me know that through the comment box. Okay, let us continue. In this video, we will see the shape of p orbitals and nodes. In general, there are two types of nodes. They are radial nodes and angular nodes. Nodes, as you already know, are the regions where there is no probability of finding electrons. S orbitals are spherical and they are not directional. Therefore, they have only radial nodes. But p orbitals, being directional, that is having directional property, have radial as well as angular nodes. First, we will take up angular nodes of p orbitals. The number of angular nodes is given by the azimuthal quantum number, that is value of L. For p orbital, the value of L is equal to 1. But before that, we have to see the shape of p orbital. The s orbital is spherical and the size of the orbital increases with principal quantum number. That is 1s smaller than 2s, smaller than 3s, smaller than 4s and so on. S orbital has only one orientation. Its azimuthal quantum number is 0. But for p orbital, the azimuthal quantum number is equal to 1. That is L is equal to 1. So it has three orientations: negative 1, 0, positive 1. So there are three p orbitals oriented along the three coordinates x, y and z. It is represented as px, py and pz. Let us see their orientation. We will mark them as x, y and z. I have followed the NCERT text in marking the directions. Some other authors give y for x and x for y. Don't worry, for the present this is enough. Unlike the s orbital, the p orbital is not spherical. It has two lobes and the lobes are directed along these coordinates. This is the x coordinate and the two lobes look something like this. You should have a three-dimensional idea about it. I have shown it for x-axis corresponding to this. And this central portion corresponds to the nucleus, where the probability of finding the electron is nil. This is the boundary surface diagram for px orbital. Along the zy plane, there is no probability of finding the electron along this plane. This region is what you call angular node. The number of angular nodes for the orbital is equal to L. That is the corresponding azimuthal quantum number. For P, it is equal to 1. So, there is one angular node. As I said earlier, P orbital has angular as well as radial nodes. We will see the radial nodes after we finish this. I have shaded this region in order to impress upon you that it is in 3D. The two lobes of the orbital give a dumbbell shape for the orbital, or p orbital is dumbbell shaped. This is the py orbital along the y coordinate, and this is the pz orbital along the z coordinate. So this is py and this is pz. For py orbital, the angular node is in zx plane. For pz, this is the direction of the angular node along xy plane. All the three orbitals are dumbbell shaped. Please remember, each orbital can hold only a maximum of 2 electrons, and since there are three possible orientations, that is orbitals for p subshell, the p subshell can hold a maximum of 3 into 2, 6 electrons. A maximum of 2 electrons can revolve in the px orbital. Similarly, 2 electrons in py orbital and maximum of 2 electrons in pz orbital. The probability of finding the 2 electrons in these two lobes is equal. The energy value of these three orbitals is same. Therefore, these px, py and pz orbitals are also called degenerate orbitals. That means electrons in the px may move to py or pz and vice versa. Now, before we proceed, let me clarify one more thing. For n is equal to 1, that is first principal quantum number, there is only one orbital, that is the s orbital, 1s. For n is equal to 2, there are two orbitals and they are 2s and 2p. For n is equal to 3, there are three orbitals and they are 3s, 3p and 3d. P orbital starts from second principal quantum number. All p subshells have three orientations. The three orientations for each subshell are degenerate, but the energy of 2p subshell will be less than that of 3p, less than that of 4p, and so on. The size of 2p will be less than the size of 3p. Remember, the number of angular nodes for the p orbital will be always 1. That is for one orientation, because the value of L for p is equal to 1. Now we will see the radial nodes of p orbital. I have given here a diagrammatic representation of a p orbital, including the radial nodes and the angular nodes. In each of the two lobes of the dumbbell-shaped p orbital, you find a clear zone where there is no probability of finding the electrons. That zone is called the radial node. It is a curved surface. From this diagram, it is clear that at a certain distance from the nucleus, there is a little probability of finding the electron, followed by the clear zone, that is the radial node, where the probability is 0. At a greater distance, there is more probability of finding the electron. This is true for both the lobes. Clear zones of the two lobes is continuous. You should imagine it in the form of 3D. So in this picture, there is one angular node and one radial node. You can compare this to something like a drop in 3 dimension. Okay. So in this portion, you have the nucleus. Now let us see how many radial nodes are possible for p orbital. P orbital starts from second principal quantum number. Second, that is 2n. Azimuthal quantum number for p is equal to 1. What is the formula for calculating radial nodes? That formula is equal to n minus L minus 1. So L is equal to 1. We will prepare a small table. Radial node, angular node, principal quantum number. For 2n, the number of radial nodes is equal to 0, because 2 minus L is equal to 1 minus 1. That becomes 0. So this is how we calculate that. We have already seen that. So radial nodes is equal to 0. What about angular node? There is one angular node. This is for 2p. I'll make a correction here. For principal quantum number 2, the azimuthal quantum number 2p. Now for 3p, it will be 3 minus 1. Minus 1 equal to 1 radial node. Then angular node is always 1 for p. For p, 4 minus 1 equal to 2. Angular node doesn't change, it is 1. So the radial node goes on increasing from 0 to 1, 2, 3, etc. depending upon the principal quantum number starting from 2. Okay. So what about the total? Total number of nodes for 2p will be 1, for 3p it will be 2, and for 4p it is 3, and so on. If you make a table out of it, it will be something like this. So we have done up to 4p. So you can calculate the total number of nodes for any p orbital. You have to consider radial and angular nodes. For s orbital, there are only radial nodes. P orbital has radial as well as angular nodes. I hope these points are clear. Now we will pass on to the radial probability distribution function curve. It is a comparison. But before we pass on to this, we will first see the probability density function curve for 2p and 3p orbitals, because we are discussing the shape of p orbital. Let us see that. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Now you have the probability density distribution function curve for 2p. What do you understand from this? For 2p, there are no radial nodes. Radial probability density function curve can give only an idea about the radial nodes. It cannot give any idea about the angular nodes. The curve for 3p. It has one radial node at this position. There are two peaks here. The first peak is lower than the second peak, suggesting that the probability is more at the second peak. By the way, probability function is taken along the y-axis and distance are along the x-axis. We have already seen the probability density function curve for 1s and 2s. We will add it that here and compare with these two. This is the shape for 1s orbital. The radial distance of maximum probability coincides with Bohr radius. 1s has no node. Maximum probability is closer to the nucleus. For 2p, you can see that it is slightly away. For 3p, it is still farther away. The size of the shell is increasing. See the curve for 2s. There are two peaks as we have already seen. This is a shorter peak. This is the bigger peak. And this area corresponds to the radial node. There is one radial node for 2s. Compare 2s and 2p. They can be easily differentiated. 2s has one node. 2p has no nodes. 2s has two peaks, one small peak and another big peak. This is the curve for 3s. There are two radial nodes and three peaks. 3p has only two peaks. 3s has three peaks. They can be easily differentiated. Now, along with this, we will see the corresponding curve for 3d orbital. This is the curve for 3d orbital. It has a single peak and it is between the peaks for 2s and 3p. It has no nodes. This is for 3d. This is the origin. Actually, this portion is not in your syllabus, but when you appear for competitive exam, questions may be asked from this portion. Let me note the quantity that is taken in the y-axis, that is probability density function. Probability, you will recall, is 4 pi r square psi square. If you have any doubts, click the I button in order to see the details. I have given the link of that video there. If only psi square is considered in the y-axis, the shape of the graph will be different and that curve will be called probability density curve. Don't confuse between the two. If the video was useful, do not forget to like the video, share the video with your friends, and also give me your feedbacks as comments in the comment box below. If you have not yet subscribed my channel, subscribe it now and also press the bell button for notification of new videos. Thank you. We will meet in the next video with shapes of d orbital. The probability density function curve for d orbital we have already discussed in this video. Thank you. Bye.